Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel and another episode covering some major news on the Mexico national team that was announced this week on Tuesday. The Mexico national team, along with the Mexican Football Federation, announced that they will be playing 3 games in January and February to start their 2026 year. These games will be preparation games for the Liga MX players in the Mexico national team's player pool and give head coach Javier Aguirre the opportunity to see which Liga MX players should be considered come their games in March, as well as when the World Cup roster is decided in June. The Mexico national team will start the 2026 year with 3 games scheduled outside of the FIFA International Calendar in the first 2 months of the 2026 year. The first 2 games will be in January. Their first game of 2026 will be on January 22nd, where they will play versus the Panama national team in Estadio Romel Fernandez in Panama. And after that, they will travel to the city of Santa Cruz de la Sierra in Bolivia, where they will play the Bolivia national team in Estadio Ramon Tahuichi Aguilera on January 25th. With that, the Mexico national team will start their 2026 year in a very similar way. They started 2025 with 2 away games, this time against 2 national teams instead of hybrid friendlies against club teams. As for their game in February, the Mexico national team will play against Iceland in Estadio Corregidora in Querétaro on February 25th. It's great to see that the Mexico national team will return and play at home in one of Mexico's historic stadiums that was one of the host venues for the 1986 FIFA World Cup. Because these games will be played outside of the FIFA International Calendar, the rosters for these games will not include some of the main players like Raúl Jiménez, Johan Vázquez, Julián Quiñones, or Edson Álvarez. They all have their respective club commitments. So with that, the rosters for these games will only include Liga MX players. Nevertheless, I am very excited for these 3 games, and I think all Mexico national team fans, like myself, should feel the same way. Believe it or not, these 3 games are ideal and will benefit the team. Because these games will only include Liga MX players, this is a huge opportunity for new players to showcase themselves on the national team. A perfect example of this is Eric Lira, who scored in the game versus Internacional the last time Mexico played in January. He then had really good performances in the Gold Cup, coming off the bench for Edson, and even started versus Saudi Arabia, and now he is seen as a locked member of this main team that adds depth to the defensive midfielder position. These games are both an opportunity for a new player to perform well and play their way onto the team, and it is also an opportunity for Javier Aguirre to see if a new player in Mexico's player pool within Liga MX can potentially add depth to the roster and also be a solution to some of the team's weaknesses and needs right now. As of recent, Mexico has really struggled offensively with a lack of creativity, particularly from the wingers. Piojo Alvarado has been pretty out of form, and it seems that while Chucky Lozano and Diego Lainez haven't been liabilities for the team, they have also not been solutions in the winger positions. Will we see Aguirre give a new player an opportunity? Will he call up Hugo Camberos and give him an opportunity to prove himself after his good performances at the U20 World Cup in Chile? Jorge Rubalcaba was called up in January for the hybrid friendlies, and in November he made his official debut versus Paraguay. And while he didn't have the best of performances, that was his first game with the main team. Will Vasco Aguirre call up Rubalcaba again and give him playing time in order to give him more experience? We will see. Osiel Herrera has been great for Tigres so far, but has not been called up since 2024 and given a greater opportunity. Will Aguirre finally give Osiel a chance? I think he should, as so far he has been much better than Diego Lainez. And when you also consider that Osiel Herrera scored a goal the last time he was called up for Mexico, he is deserving of being given an opportunity to prove himself in these games. And in the defense, we know that Cesar Montes and Johan Vázquez will be the starting center backs come the World Cup, as they are the best center backs the team has right now. However, Chiquete Orozco, who was seen as the substitute player that could add depth to the roster defensively, went down with an awful injury in the Liga MX semifinals, and it has now been confirmed that he sustained a broken ankle that will likely rule him out for the World Cup. Heartbreaking for Chiquete, you hate to see it, and I wish him a quick and speedy recovery. But now, with Chiquete unable to play in this World Cup due to not being fully recovered by then, it is now a next man up scenario for Mexico. And with that, Aguirre will likely use these games to see which center backs can replace Chiquete and also add good quality depth in the defensive side of the roster. Will Ramon Juarez be called up? Will we see Purata get another opportunity after Tigres' good Apertura season and give him playing and because he played well for Mexico in their game versus South Korea, does that also merit another opportunity for Purata? Aguirre is known to build the roster of his team from the defense up. So these games will be important in this regard, and it will be very interesting to see what decision he makes in terms of the roster in order to maintain a strong defensive system. There are two other reasons why these games are also beneficial for Mexico. First, 2 of the 3 games will be played against national teams from outside of CONCACAF. 1 from CONMEBOL and 1 from UEFA. The more games Mexico plays against teams from other confederations, the better, as it will elevate the level of the team and get them accustomed to the different styles of play that you see from these teams from other confederations. 2 of these games will also be played in their opponent's home territory, with the games versus Panama and Bolivia being played in their respective countries, while the game versus Iceland will be in Querétaro. This is beneficial for Mexico in the short term and in the long term, as the games in Panama and Bolivia will get the national team more accustomed to playing in away atmospheres where the fans will not be on their side, while the game versus Iceland in Querétaro gets the team accustomed to the pressure of playing in front of a home crowd in Mexico. Also give credit to the Mexican Football Federation for deciding to hold this third game in Mexico. Fans have been wanting the Mexico national team to start holding more of their games in Mexico. And not only have they listened to the fans in this regard over the past few international breaks, but they are also holding this game in a stadium where it has been a very long time since the team has played a game there. I am very happy to see the Mexican Football Federation schedule a game for the national team in Mexico and give Mexico fans in Querétaro an opportunity to see their team in their local stadium where Los Gallos Blancos play. Just like how the women's team has been playing games in Ciudad Juárez, in Tlaxcala, Estadio Coruco Díaz in Morelos, and seeing how it has grown the fan base and support for La Selección Femenil by having these games in various stadiums like Coruco Díaz in Morelos. This is how you grow the fan base for the men's team as well. So it is very good to see Mexico play more games in its own country as well as in various stadiums across Mexico. So there you have it, the Mexico national team's confirmed schedule for January and February, and their first 3 games scheduled to start their 2026 year. Overall, A grade for the Mexican Football Federation in scheduling these games. These games will give opportunities to new players in Liga MX to prove themselves to Javier Aguirre, and it will be Javier Aguirre's opportunity to see which players from Liga MX in Mexico's player pool can add depth to the roster and be solutions to certain aspects of the team going forward. Andres from AA Sports, that will be all for this video. I am excited to see these games, and I look forward to seeing which players get called up. Leave a like on the video and put your opinions on these upcoming games for the Mexico national team in the comments. Also put which players you want to see get called up in the comments as well. Leave a like and subscribe to support my channel and help it grow. Thanks for watching. Viva Mexico.